So I'm finding life as a new mum really, really exciting, and it's fun, but it's very challenging. In terms of the pregnancy that I had, I was anxious every day. I thought I would miscarry or something bad would happen. But then looking at the bigger picture, I used to dream of Concy quite a bit throughout my pregnancy. And I just felt like she was her guardian angel looking down and being like, Mum, don't worry, it's all good, she's gonna be fine. With the birth, I was going to go for a VBAC, a normal kind of natural pregnancy, but in the end I ended up having an emergency C-section, which I didn't want to have, but I had no choice because she just wouldn't dilate. So I was contracting every 2 minutes, but she wouldn't get past 5 centimetres, so they were like, we need to get her out. And so yeah, that's the way she came out. Obviously I had the same emergency C-section with Concy, so I got quite frightened at the beginning when I was told I was going to have another emergency C-section. I got anxious, I'm lying there on the operating table, like what is going on? It was like memories just being triggered completely. But in the end I was okay, I was fine. It was obviously a much better experience this time around. After I'd given birth through the C-section, I just felt an overwhelming amount of peace, and that to me was really, really nice. When I held Xaya for the first time, it felt magical. It felt surreal, and I still look at her now and I'm like, oh my gosh, did she come out of me? Like, was she inside of me? It's so weird, but it's the most beautiful feeling ever. Well, Xaya was originally Xaya with a Z, and then my manager Xanth, I was like, oh, that looks quite nice, so I changed it to an X, but it actually means shadow. So yeah, she's just like my little shadow, following me around everywhere, so I love it. Xaya is literally very sassy. She knows what she wants when she wants it, and I can see her being quite fiery, but she's like a little spiritual baby. So yeah, she's also very calm too, which is nice. Postnatal, I definitely suffered with a bit of depression at the beginning. Everything felt surreal. I missed my mum, and I missed that family on my side. Even though Jared's got a massive family, it just didn't feel exactly the same as me having my mum and my dad there, and my brothers live far away, so it was literally me and my sister. And I struggled a bit because of the hormones as well, and then me and Jared split up around 4 or 5 weeks after. So there was a lot to deal with and a lot to process and a lot to do on my own. It was an amicable split, however, it was more to have space and a break from each other because things got really intense, there's a lot of pressure involved, and I think it was best for both of us to just take a few months apart. So that's literally all we've done, and he's been brilliant. Yeah, so co-parenting was hard to begin with because I just wanted her all for myself. And I was like, oh, you can, but we're doing 50-50. I even stay with him sometimes to have her, and we're getting along a lot better having it like this at the minute and having our space. So it actually kind of saved us in a weird way. So yeah, definitely can see us getting back together. He's a brilliant father, he adores Xaya, and it's so nice to see them when they're together because he just looks at her with like big love eyes when he holds her, and she just, yeah, she loves him too. So the decision behind releasing my book was done around 2-3 years ago now. It took quite a long time to write. It was more wanting to tell my story in order to help others, but I felt like I couldn't release it after I'd gone through everything at once. So I wanted to make sure I took time out, wrote the book, but went on that healing journey as well, so I could give people an explanation on how they could kind of get over these difficulties instead of me just jumping straight into writing a book and I'm still not fully over certain things, So now I look back on the book, I've given people kind of hope and a way out of whatever they're struggling with. When I speak about abuse, it's more the fact that we as women or men can feel silenced. We feel like that we're not believed, we feel like we don't have enough evidence, we feel like we can't speak about it because there's shame involved and there's guilt involved. And I wanted to show other people that they can, and they can get through it, but they're also, there's a voice to be heard in it all. Trauma always exists within our bodies, and it's our job as humans to kind of push through it and work through navigating how to heal ourselves. And it's an ongoing journey, it's not linear, it's just like grief, right? So every step is another step in the right direction as long as you're aiding towards it and doing things that help you. So, I have therapy, I write a lot, I journal, I'll exercise, I'll meditate, and I have to take steps in the right direction to keep my head in a good place, because very easily mental health can just be triggered and we can go down into a dark place, and everyone is human. So yeah, I think it's an important thing that I've written in the book, and I've always said it, I've said nothing is straightforward or easy. We can fall back and we can fall forward, but as long as you keep on the right track. When I look at my little girl, I think, you know, what do I want her to look at in the future? I want her to see strong women, you know, that can speak about certain things and that aren't ashamed of themselves. And I think it's important to have good role models. So when I look at her, I want to be the best role model to her. And I don't want her to grow up in a generation of, you know, women being suppressed or her not being able to speak to me. I think it's important that she has a voice, definitely. I think I've always lived by the quote, without struggle, there is no progress. And I think we all think that life should be easy sometimes and we fall into that victim mentality of why does this happen to me? But without that struggle that has been put there, we're never going to become the best versions of ourselves because, you know, we think that we're perfect. But it's actually our shadows that trigger us into healing. And it's actually the darkest moments of our life that make us a better person overall. So when she goes through problems in the future and she'll come to me and talk about it and cry, I'll just let her know and be like, you know, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel for you. You just need to navigate your way through it and everything will be okay. She's given me that kind of love, which is everlasting, eternal, but so pure as well. And I've never experienced that type of love. So she's given me that family that I've always kind of craved. And it's been the most amazing journey with her so far. So I just can't wait till she talks.